Welcome back to Uncle Rico's Storytime. I'm Rico. Rico's having a rough week. A couple of days ago, 4 days ago, 5 days ago, uh, I'm on a dating app called Seeking Arrangements. I thought it was like a mail order bride type thing because I've just given up. But it's more like the prostitution type thing. A buddy recommended it. I joined, canceled, rejoined when this really super hot chick hit me up. And the price tag on that was insane. She wanted $1,000 for an online relationship, and I'm like sexting and like pics and stuff, and she's like, yeah, exactly, and I'm like, that's what porn is. It's free on the internet, you know. Um, so I have another month to kill on that. This girl hit me up. Hey, which is rare. I said, hey. So we start chatting. She says, oh, you seem funny. Let's text. So I give her my number. We start talking. She says, well, hey, just to let you know, obviously my time is valuable. And so now I've been kind of just asking how much because it's laughable. Um, but I think she was like $600 or $700 per meet. What I'm finding is that these girls want a get to know you period where you like go out on dates and stuff, but you pay them for that also. So, um, this girl said her number, and I was like, I'm so sorry. It's all I'm very respectful. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. It's way too steep for me. And then they always lose their shit. So this girl, I say, oh, thank you so much for reaching out, but it's a little too steep for me. And she says, oh, you don't even have gas money to drive over here. I said, that's not at all what I said. I'm just saying, thanks, but no thanks. And she calls me a tiny dick, loser, couple of times, and then I'm just responding with hooker. She's like, you tiny dick, or no, before we even got to that, she's like, thanks for wasting my time. And I go, well, you hit me up, and this sucks for me also. I wasted my time. So we both got our time wasted, but you instigated it. So, and that's when she was like, "Fuck you, loser, pay for sex." And I'm like, "No, I don't. Actually, I just, I was wondering what you pay because the prices are insane. I accidentally joined this website. I don't pay for sex. You sell it. You're a hooker, like, you know." And then, so she's hitting me up, tiny dick loser. And I'm like, hooker. And she's like, that's not even me on the pictures, ha ha ha. And I'm like, hooker? What does that matter, anyways? And then she's like, I'm not even in the state. And I'm like, hooker. She's like, you don't even know who you're talking to, ha ha, loser. And I'm like, hooker. So I block her. Then no, then she starts calling from another number, and she's like, hey Nick, and I said, who is this? And she goes, you don't even know who you're talking to, loser. And so I was like, hooker. And then she's like, oh, I'm in a different state, and then I blocked her there. And then she calls from a third number, and I'm guessing that these you can just kind of mimic numbers or whatever. I mean, she doesn't have three different phones, right? So she's got different numbers that she's calling from, and I don't pick up on this. She calls from a third number, and she's like, "Oh, this is her pimp. I know where you are." And I'm like, "Bitch, You better bring a lot of friends that you don't care about. DMX. And then I blocked him. Blocked her. So about an hour later, I get a couple of texts. I get a phone call from this. My caller ID says LaQuisha something. So I'm like, oh my god, nope. And so uh, did not answer it. She calls again, did not answer it. I'm about to block it when she texts me and she says, "Why are you playing on my phone?" And so then I blocked her. So this is the fourth number, which I thought. Okay, but then I get a phone call about an hour later from somebody, Hector so and so I answer it. I think it's work. And he's like, "Hey, I missed a call from this number." And I was like, "Nope, I've had my phone on me the whole time. Sorry." About 2 hours later, get another phone call. "Hey, missed a phone call." I'm like, "Fuck." So it's been 3 or 4 days now, and I get like eight to 10 phone calls a day. The problem is if you don't answer them, they will then text you and be like, "Hey, I missed a phone call. What's up?" So I've been answering the phone call going, "Hey man, some chick put me on some website where it's just automatically calling people." And it's genius because if they call you, you can block it. But if they send it out to other people, then the other people will call you and you can't block them. There's a setting on your phone where you can block all calls from, unless it's from people in your contact. I'm like, Jesus, that would be how you can. I don't know how you'd go about life doing that, but yeah, it's like I got work and shit. So yeah, so tomorrow I have to call up Verizon. I stopped in there today, and they're like, "Yeah, you just gotta. The only thing is you gotta change. You can change your number." So they got me again, man. Hookers 2, Rico nothing. Actually, it's more like Hookers 3-0 because way back in the day at John's bar, a hooker stole my really nice black leather trench coat that I bought off of what is that famous street in LA? Rio something? I don't know. But yeah, it was a really nice coat, and I was hanging out at my bar after working, getting my drunk on, and this little teeny tiny Filipino girl starts talking to me. I said, "You are adorable." And she said, "You're really handsome." And I said, "Thank you very much." And she said, "Do you have money?" And I said, "Yes, I do have money." And she said, "Because my time is valuable." I'm like, "God damn it." I'm like, "Sorry, babe, I don't pay for sex." She's like, "No problem." So I think I bought her a couple of shots. And I went to the bathroom, come back, she's gone, my leather coat's gone. Fucking ganked my coat, man. So, yeah. The hookers like to pick on Rico. So today, some poor girl hits me up, like just now. "Hey, I just saw your message." I messaged her like weeks ago. "Hit me up on this number." So I hit her up on that number. I said, "Hey," sent her a couple of pictures of me and the dogs. And she doesn't send any back. So right away I'm like, "Fuck you." But she's like, "What are you on Seeking for?" And this is really funny too because all of these girls, it's all when you like play them out to see like maybe they're in it for long term. They're always like whenever you get their numbers, whenever you exchange numbers, they always say, "What are you on Seeking arrangements for?" And I'm like, "Oh, I want to, I'm old school, so I want to find a girl that I can take care of and support and take, I'm ready to retire. I want to move on to up into the mountains and do this charity work, and it'd be nice to have somebody to do it with, and you know, So I'm basically looking for somebody that doesn't want to work anymore and just wants to have fun, live in a mountain. And then they're like, PPM, which is paper meat. So I'm always like, okay, thanks for asking me what I'm looking for, prostitute. Just what you then. So this girl today, she says, hey, what are you on Seeking for? And I'm like, oh, she's not. Yeah. She's from Vegas. She's got big old fake boobs. So I'm like, yeah, this is not. So I said, hot sex and no drama. And she's like, oh, okay, ha ha ha. I guess something like right to the point or something like that. And then she's like, well, I guess if that's the route you're going for. Or no, I said hot sex and drama. And then I said right after that, I texted her, you're in it for the money, right? And she goes, well, if you're going to take that route, then yes, I'd be okay with just, money. And I don't know where it turned. She goes, what number are you thinking? And I go, it's not going to be enough for you, so don't worry. And she goes, well, what are you thinking? And I go, no, I'm not going to do this because we do this, I do the same thing. Girls ask all the same questions. And then whenever because I always lowball them, I'm like, I don't know, a couple of hundred. And they're like, no, 700 or 800. And I go, and then you get mad. And then when I say no thanks, you get mad and you call me insults. And I've got to change my number tomorrow, so I'm pretty salty about it. And she says, what'd she say after that? She says something about, or she goes something about not being on the website. And I go, you know what, I don't belong on the website. My buddy told me it was like a mail order bride, like serious dating type, girls that want to get married, not prostitution. I didn't know that, but I already paid the 100 and whatever. And she goes, well, it is for serious daters, but when you take a tact like hot sex, no drama, that really steers the conversation away from any options of long term. And I go, bullshit, you don't care. You just care about the money. That's what I could be the ugliest dude in the world. The only long term thing that you're going to go with is if the guy is super, super rich. That would be the only. I go, you would like your lifestyle, and that's fair, but don't. Oh, and at the end of it, she was like, come at me correct. And I was like, come at you correct. It's prostitution. Like, what, I got to tiptoe around it? I just was wondering, I didn't even, come correct. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna watch some TV and crash out because it's pretty late. And I put on the Superbox, and it brings up this. It says Wolf of God, and I was like, whoa, that sounds cool. And so I click on it, and it says disgraced priest Marcial Maciel. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, but if anybody, he fucking deserves to get his name mispronounced. So Maciel, priest Father Maciel, a fucking dirtbag loser down in Mexico, right? He's a priest for a Catholic church, and he starts. I don't watch the documentary because I hate shit like that. It makes me too mad. But I Google him right away and I do all this research on him. This dirtbag priest, this fucking monster pedophile, is abusing boys in the 1950s. Okay? And the Vatican hears about it. And so one dude high up from the Vatican sends a memo to this other guy, and he's like, hey, let Father Maciel, dirtbag. We'll just call him Phlegm, Father Phlegm. That's what his name will be from now on. Maciel. They sent this memo. It says, let Father Phlegm know that he has to undergo treatment. And if he doesn't get here in 2 days to do this, then we'll have to suspend him and he can't be around any boys. Okay, so this was a physical memo that they found later on in the investigation, right? Okay, so but this is in the 50s. And he's accused of, there's complaints about him molesting boys in the 50s. And the Vatican knows about it in the 50s. Okay? And this is Pope, forget his name, Pilius, something like that. It was before John Paul. So word gets up to the Pope about this dude. And this Pope is going to put him out to pasture. He's going to fire him. And then the Pope dies. So now this new Pope comes in, Pope John Paul. And Pope John Paul goes, hey, Father Phlegm, you're doing a great job. We're going to start up a new church down in Mexico called the Legion of Christ. And you're going to lead it. Okay? So you can fill that church up with whoever you want, all of your buddies. Okay? And then, since it's a different church, if you get caught for doing something, it won't reflect poorly on us, the Vatican. Okay? So, this dude then brings in all of his fucking predator, shitbag, fucking loser priests. Okay? Fills his little Legion of Christ church up with other priests that like molesting boys just like him. So, flash forward to like 2001 when some kid, not even a kid, he's 30 years old, some guy in New York is watching a story about all these accusations for this priest, Father Maciel, Father Phlegm. Okay? So he's like, what the fuck? That's my dad. His dad impregnated his mom in New York and pretended to be married and everything with them and was saying he was an oil mining company. His kid thought that he was probably in the CIA because he was super secretive and he was lying. He was like oil rig. So then he was like, holy shit, tells his mom. And then he comes forward and he's like, yeah, he's been molesting me. He's a fucking liar. He did molest me. So they go to the New York, like whoever, district attorney probably, and they tell the people in New York. So in New York starts an investigation of this Legion of Christ down in Mexico. And that's what ends up officially getting it out, because if it's in the church, nobody knows about it. So they do an independent investigation. The current pope then was like, oh man, this guy's banging way too many boys for way too long. 60 years, right? Oh, too much now. So we're gonna make you retire, but we're not gonna press charges or investigate or anything. We're gonna sentence you to a life of prayer and repentance so you can think about what you did. And this asshole dies 2 years later. So, got away with it. Okay? But the New York thing had already started, so now they're investigating it. Okay? And in this church, when they started it, 30 or 40 years ago, they found 33 priests, 175 different victims. This was back in 2006. Okay? By 2010, 8 of them had died of natural causes, so they got away with it. Okay. 18 of the 33 were still in the church. Still active priests in the Catholic Church down in Mexico. Fucking disgusting. And people ask me what I have against religion. This is what I have against religion. 3 popes, 60 years of molestation, 175 different victims. I was raised Catholic, and I saw the bullshit in it right away when they'd make me go to CCD, and I would try to talk logically with them, you know. Hey, I have a question. They're always like, oh my God. Yeah, Nick. Like, if the Red Sea, buried a whole army of soldiers, wouldn't we still be finding artifacts, wheels, knives, spoons, food, stuff like that? Well, God cleaned it up. God wouldn't do anything for the longest time. Then he finally stepped in and was like, boom, gonna bury you in an ocean. And then he went back in and cleaned it up. I mean, does he want? He kind of, while he was doing all these miracles, he wants people to know, like, of his presence. And then he, independent study. So I'd get kicked out. They send me out into the hallway where I would read Greek mythology, because I'm like, well, if I'm going to read some fiction, I want to spice it up and have it make some sense, teach me some lessons, not be so hypocritical. So at one point, I wanted to be a priest. I was thinking about going to this place, St. Lawrence Seminary, and decided against it, went into the Navy 2 years after my freshman orientation. I went to a freshman orientation with 35 other boys. 2 years after that, there was a priest got arrested at St. Lawrence Seminary for molesting, sexually assaulting boys. So I know that it wouldn't have been me, because I wouldn't, they pick on the weak and the guys that aren't going to say anything, the real innocent ones. Some priest tried doing that to me, man. God damn. Oh shit. But the thing that hurt was that I went to, I met one of those kids that his life had been shattered by somebody that he trusted. Irrevocably changed. And these fucking guys just keep getting away with it. Church will just scoot them over to a different state. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And the fact that organized religion hides that evil and defends it and supports it, god damn, I want nothing to do with it. Fucking my my brother-in-law's brother passed away. He was just a great dude. He was handicapped from a horrible accident. His wife stuck by him. This guy was just so much the community. He was huge in church. He was the reason why my sister and my brother-in-law got into it. He was kind of the first one into that family that dove deep into Christianity. But he was, they had 2 boys, and he was huge around the community. All the kids in the neighborhood would always drive over to his house, and he'd change their tire and talk to them about stuff. And just a great person, and just a huge heart. And he was in this church. He and his wife, they were leaders. I forget what they call it, but not part of the church, but you're kind of a peer leader. So you do Bible readings and mentor people and talk counseling and stuff like that. And so him and his wife were held those positions, just like my sister and brother-in-law are leaders. And his wife starts cheating on him right out in the public, man. Not out in public, but they get caught, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna, God is, making us have these feelings, and, we're just spending a lot of time with each other right now. We're not doing anything. And so he sets up cameras and everything and catches them doing stuff. And the church just kind of, doesn't really do shit about it. I found out about all this after the fact, because Keith, I didn't want to say any names, but he eventually killed himself. And I was talking with my sister about it afterwards, and I put the pieces together. I said, my God, the church killed him. The church killed him. He caught his wife having sex. The sanctity of the church, the whole thing that he believed, he based his whole life on, they didn't care. When my sister told me that they were cheating, I was like, oh wow, so they kicked her out of the church then? She goes, no. They're still leaders. The dude she was cheating on him with was also a leader in the church, and they're still active members in the church. I believe to this day they are still all in the same church. But when she told me, I was like, wow, so they kicked her out of the church. Nope. She goes to the football games with the guy now. I think they're still together. But yeah, how emasculating, to have that go down, and then you catch them, and then nobody gives you backup. Nobody. The thing that really crushed me was when I was talking to my sister. I kind of hemmed her into a corner. I said, well, what you could just get shun her? If she didn't get kicked out of the house, you shun her and you give her a cold shoulder, and every time she walks away, gets up and walks away, you talk about her behind her back so she goes crazy, right? She goes, no, we pray about it a lot. And I go, so you think about it? That's the only recourse for that? She commits one of the top sins, adultery, and your church just goes, well, do better, try to do better. Fuck that. Fuck that shit. Nope. You're gonna hide fucking predators like that in your church for 60 years? Nope. Fuck that also. I ain't playing that game. If for some reason there's a very slim chance I die and there's fucking judgment day and God's up there, I'm gonna be like, you're a fucking prick, man. Thanks for torturing us all just to test us. Fuck you. Peace out.